In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, today inshallah we're gonna discuss a new lesson from Mega Goal 6. With me, I'm teacher Sami. Let's begin. Our lesson today inshallah is from your workbook, belongs to expansion 46. So we will apply some questions and some answer for that question. Okay. Today, inshallah, we have 3 points for our objectives. Every points have a special grammar, and every one slide have 3 or 4 pages for exercises. So in slide 1, we have noun clauses and reported speech and quoted speech grammar. Let's begin that one and see what we have according that one or according this grammar, which before discussing it. And already we discussed what is the meaning of noun clause and the reported speech and what we mean by quoted speech. So let's begin. On this slide, inshallah, we have some question. We should apply that grammar according it. So look at this question here. Number 1. Some of these sentences below are quoted speech and some are reported speech. Add a capital letter, a comma, and quotation mark when needed. If no change is needed, write no change. Let we see the first one as an example. Eric said that Intertrade and Plumstock have merged into one company. So do you think it needs any of these changes from capital letters, a comma, quotation mark, or nothing? So when we look very carefully about the sentence, we found that it is a correct sentence, so no need to change. And number 2, she said, please be on time, which means that this is a reported speech. So if we have a reported speech, we should put a quotation mark. So when we want to correct it, we will correct as that shape. She said, comma, then we will open the quotation mark, please be on the time, and we will close it again. Are you ready to apply for that one? Let's begin. Number 1, my sister said Asma called the department store last week. What do you think is it? It's a reported speech, it's a noun sentence, or it's a direct sentence? So from that sentence we notice that it's a reported speech. So in a reported speech again, we should put the quoted speech between quotation marks. My sister said, comma, Asma called the department store last week, and we will close it again. Number 2, Pamela said Jessica was reading a book in her room. So no change for that one. Pamela said Jessica is planning a big dinner for her parents. Also no change for it because it's a correct thing. He said Ali's not going to finish his research paper this term. So we think so. We would make some change in that sentence. So he said, comma, Ali's not going to finish his research paper this term. Okay, let we go for the second question and see what we have. On that question, they give it to you as sentences, and some of it have verbs, but we should choosing the correct verb to complete the sentence. Okay, look at the first one, or the title for that question before. The writer said to us, circle the correct verbs to complete the sentences. Number 1, she said she had heard a rumor about Susan. What do you think? So we're applying that reported speech again, and we should choosing a correct verbs. Number 1, he said or asked they had been working on the project or were working on the project for a year. So if we have a normal speech, we should put said. If we have a question, we will choose and ask it. So the first answer is he said, and he had been working on the project. If you notice here the tense of the time, it's coming one back which means that we applying the exception which we talked about before about the sequence of the tense when we want to replace or paraphrase the sentence from normal sentence to a reported speech. Number 2, they say or tell you are or were part of the team. So they say you are part of team. Number 3, they said or they asked whether you were or whether you are coming. What do you think is it? We can say that they asked whether, because they given a chosen or making a chosen for that question. So they said asked whether, that give it chosen to you, where you were coming. Number 4, the teacher said or told us to wear or wear our uniforms to school today. What do you think about that one? We can say the teacher told us to wear our uniforms to school today. This is if you have a question and someone wants from you to correct the verbs according to the noun phrases. Okay, number 3, or question 3 in the same slide. Correct the errors in the sentence. My father said he is looking for a new job. So if you wanted to, we wanna make a reporting speech, we should looking for the time for the tense. So according to this sentence, we found the said for his father or her father in the present tense, and we want to apply it for reporting speech. We should moving one back for the previous tense. So we can write it as that one. My father asked if I had done my homework. According to the real sentence or essential sentence, my father asked I had done my homework. Okay, let's go to number 2. She said her sister couldn't went with her. What do you think is it? We can say she said her sister couldn't go with her. This is the right one. Okay, so we change it from when to go. Number 3, my friend told me not forget to call later. What do you think is it? My friend told me not to forget to call later. This is the correct arrangement for this sentence. Number 4, she said if they were going to travel anymore. What is the good one for that sentence? She asked if they were going to travel anymore, which means that this is from conditional sentence. Okay, now we will go to the main points for our lesson. Okay, by the end of this slide, we finished or we talked already about the noun clauses and reported speech, and we applied some question to the coded speech grammar. We will go to the next slide and see what we discuss on that slide, adjective clauses and relative pronoun. As we would discuss before, that adjective clause is a dependent clause that can describe or give information about the noun which come before it. Now we will go to apply the grammar inside this slide, number 2. Okay, look at the example here. Number 1, complete the sentences by writing of the possible relative pronouns. They told you which one is suitable or possible for this sentence. That could be used, maybe some of it have who, whom, that, which, or you can omit for a relative pronoun. Then tick, right or correct, sign the box to show whether the relative pronoun is acting as a subject or an object. So when you choosing the correct possible relative pronoun and you fit in inside the space inside sentence, look at the choosing, it becomes as a subject or an object inside the adjective clause. Let's begin. Number 1 is an model. The man who or whom or that or omit, which means that it is a relative pronoun, no relative pronoun in that sentence. I sat next to on the airplane was very nice. So what is that relative pronouns or the situation of it inside the adjective clause? It is an object. Okay, number 2, English is a language. What do you think English is? A subject, an object, and what is the relative pronoun suitable or possible with it? So we can say that or which is suitable. So English is the language that requires a lot of practice, or English is a language which require a lot of practice. Okay, what do you think is it? It is a subject or object? We can say it is a subject. Okay, number 2. English is the language space we are studying right now. What do you think is it? Language is a subject, is an object. What is the relative pronoun suitable with it? So we can say that or which we are studying right now. But be careful about the language or the English here. It's becoming as an object for the or inside the adjective clause. And number 3, the man space is given, the speech is over there. What do you think is it? It have or it need a possible relative pronouns, and which one of that relative, subject or an object? We can say that or who is giving the speech in over there, and the situation of it is becoming as a subject inside an adjective clause. Okay, now we will go for the next page. Combine the 2 sentences. Use the second sentence as an adjective clause. Okay, they give it to you, 2 sentences, and they want from you to make or combine it as a one meaningful sentence or a meaning or a thought sentence. A pilot is a person. Full stop. He flies airplanes. So how can we join these 2 sentences? They told us a pilot is a person who refers, or the suitable relative pronoun returns to the subject, pilot, flies airplanes. I think it's an easy question, and we should apply it for the 3 points. Number 1, the bill made me sick. I took it. So what do you think, how we apply, how we correct that, how we join these 2 sentences together? We can say the bill that I took made me sick. And don't forget to look for the sequence for the tense inside the sentence. The soup was too salty. I had it for lunch. So the soup that I had for lunch was too salty. Number 3, a bird is an animal. It can fly. So how we apply for that one? A bird is an animal that can fly. So that returns to the main verb, or main subject inside the sentence. Okay, now we will go for the 3rd question from slide 2. According to the adjective clauses and pronoun clauses, complete the sentence with who, that, or which. More than one answer is possible for each sentence, which means that you can use 2 as a correct answer. This is a model. A fish is an animal that or which lives in the ocean. Number 2, the person who or that used to teach me is over there. Number 3, Mercury is the planet which or that is close to the sun. The librarian who or that organized the book club works in the afternoon. So this is the last thing for the 2nd slide, is talking about adjective clause. Now we will go back for the last point for our objectives for our lesson today, is how to using when or where or which in adjective clause. And I mentioned with the exercises the pages or the number of the page behind every question. On this slide number 3, we can find this question. Now on this question, from the 3rd points, we have to apply that grammar according this question. They give it a question to fill inside the space, and they want to fill that space with where and when, and after that we rewrite it with using which or that. Number 1 as a model, winter is the season when it snows. winter is the season in which it snows. Number two, or sorry, the first question we should apply, school is a place. What do you think the suitable with it? Where or when? It's a place. So I think the suitable one with it, or the right answer with it, is where we learn. Okay, school is the place where we learn, and we will write it again with which or that. We can say school is a place in which we learn. Number two, dusk is the time of the day. Space, the sun sets. What do you think the suitable with it, or how we complete it with when? And we will write it again. Dusk is the time of the day at which the sun sets. So we're using which when we want to rewrite again with the alternative way. Number three, my bedroom is the one place in our house. Space, I can be alone. What do you think is it? It's where, because they asking, or they told us about a place where I can be alone. And we will write by alternative way as the way my bedroom is the one place in our house at that I can belong. Okay, the next question is from on the same page 59, letter E, combine the two sentences with whose. They want from you to combine these two sentences using whose. Use the second sentence as an adjective clause. What do you mean, miss? They want the second one, after when you combine it, it comes as adjective clause. Okay? Be careful about the adjective clause and the sequence of the tense and what we told about the adjective in a previous lesson. Sorry. Number one, Thomas is a boy. Full stop, which means that is a dependent clause. His experiment won first place at the science fair. How we join this together? We can say Thomas is the boy whose experiments won first place at the science fair. Okay, are you ready to apply? Number one, the family moved to Abha. This is an independent clause. The second one, we bought their house. How we apply it? How we make the second one in an adjective clause? By this way. The family whose house we bought moved to Abha, which means that the second part, or the second rewrite about this sentence is coming on an adjective clause. Number two, the girl was disappointed. Her cell phone was stolen. We can write by the way, the girl whose cell phone was stolen, what happened for it, was disappointed. Or for her, sorry, was disappointed. Ahmed is my cousin. His brother is a pilot. We can say Ahmed is my cousin whose brother is a pilot. Okay, the last question for this slide is correct the errors, which means that every sentence have an errors. In each sentence, if the sentence is correct, write correct. So you should notice, you should apply what is the things that becomes as error inside the sentence. Number one, the Louvre is the museum in where the Mona Lisa is displayed. So this is a wrong way when we want to write preposition with pronouns together. We should say only the suitable pronoun with it is where. Number one, the person who's giving the next presentation is me. Where is the errors inside the sentence? I think that whose is the error. What is the right one? The right one, we should say who is, not whose, which means that the person who is giving the next presentation is me. 2. Evening is the time of day which we eat dinner at. Where is the error inside the sentence? We found which is the error. So what is the correct one, miss? Everything is the time of the day. When? Because it talk about time. We should choose when, the suitable pronoun with it. We ate dinner. And the third one, I was very surprised when I heard the news. Where is the error inside the sentence? I can't find any errors. So this is a correct sentence because they give it a subject and object, and they write by correcting way and give it a complete meaningful for this sentence. Okay, this is the last question for our lesson. And by the end of this lesson, I want to remind you about what we discussed today. We discussed the pronoun and the quoted speech and reported speech. After that, we discussed the noun clause, and the last thing we discussed an adjective clause. And by the end of this lesson, I would like to thank you for the good follow-up, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.